Vince, and good morning to everyone. It's really fantastic to have the opportunity to be here, mostly because this facility and the Decision Center and you all being here is a part of this process. I'll make sure I don't talk too long. Part of this process of upping our game, upping all of our games. And so it never ceases to amaze me that we live in a world where what we do in this room, those of us that are here, is we build human beings. We build human capital. We lay the foundation for the economy. We lay the foundation for social progress. We lay the foundation for all of the things that we hold dear are at the root, at the end of the day, a function of whether or not we can do our job. I wake up every morning early. I scan 4 or 5 different newspapers, Los Angeles Times, the Phoenix paper, the Wall Street Journal, the Washington Post, the New York Times, a couple other papers I like to look at. I don't read them, obviously, every page, but I look at them. And then I listen also to this show on CNBC, among the many things where I'm trying to collect data every single day about what's going on, called Squawk Box. And there's this obsession. These guys are talking, these 3 guys are talking, and they're bringing in leaders, CEOs like you all as superintendents. They're bringing in people, and all they're talking about is data. That's all they're talking about. The progress of this, the progress of that, what went up, what went down, where they were successful, where they weren't successful, why they weren't successful, what was going on. And it's this unbelievable focus on analytics. Likewise, when you hear people talking about how we're doing relative to the pandemic, how we're doing relative to some other area of important national policy, it's data, 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 data. Analytics, holding people accountable. How are we doing? In our world, because we're broken up into hundreds or thousands or tens of thousands, there's 15,000 school districts in the United States. There used to be 100,000 school districts. There used to be 100,000 school districts in the United States. Think about that for a second. We have some data. We have some insights. We have some perspective. But we don't have enough. We're not putting the kind of energy into the analytics necessary for us to know where we are. Over at the university, one of the things that's helped us to move to maximum enrollment, highest 4-year graduation rate, most diverse student body that we've had, largest number of graduates, large transformation of the institution relative to outcomes. I'll just give you an example. We've gone from 6,000 engineering students 10 years ago to 27,000 engineering students at ASU this semester, 18,000 on campus and 8 or 9,000 online. Every single step of everything that we've done in improving retention and graduation and diversity and outcomes and getting students through the university has been a function of deep analytical awareness. Who's moving on, who isn't moving on, not even down to micro elements of individual component parts of particular courses. Interaction with students in all kinds of ways, and so I'm not suggesting that this decision center is at that level of analysis. But this decision center and this idea that Helios and Vince and Paul and others, having put this together, is how do we become more self-aware? How do we become more analytically driven? How do we become more successful toward our goal? And we're a long way from our goal. So we have a goal of 92% retention for our freshman class. We have a goal of 85% graduation, and this is for adults deciding sometimes to drop out of college to go do something else for lots of other reasons. None of that works without high school graduation rates being north of 95%. Nothing works in this economy going forward with high school graduation rates being 95% by age 18 and 99% by age 25. Nothing works unless nothing works economically, competitively, unless we have a 60% post-secondary attainment rate, which is what we set as our state goal. But we unfortunately don't know how we're going to get there. No individual superintendent, no individual university, no individual institution has the means to understand how do we get there. Where are we falling down? Where are we falling up? Where are we achieving? Where are we underachieving? And then, just like those people in other sectors, facing the facts coldly and boldly. That is, here's the cold facts, and here's what we need to do. And so the exciting thing about us being involved in this project is that we want to be involved in this project with everything that we have from ASU, analytical side, decision center side, decision analytics side, tool development side, data side, decision enhancement side, so that we can help all of the educational enterprises in Arizona achieve the goal that we're working to achieve. So here's the storm that we're in right now, and you can sense it a little bit. We've got 3 or 4 simultaneous occurrences. One, the rate of technological advance is so rapid right now that you can expect that everyone that you have in your K-12 pipeline will have a life that's continuously disrupted by technological introduction. Period. That's not going to change. Augmented intelligence, artificial intelligence, every kind of automated system. The fewer truck drivers that can be hired to become truck drivers, the fewer jobs there'll be for truck drivers because they'll be replaced. And I'm not going to walk you through what all that means in terms of the cascading difference in the way that the economy will be moving forward. But technological disruption will be such that there are unbelievable positive outcomes that can come from that in the economy, particularly if we can get more people educated to a higher level of learning capacity and more people educated to a higher level of adaptation capacity. If you can't enhance your learning capacity, it's not what you know, it's what can you know. It's not how much do you know now, it's how much more can you know. These are not fixed problems, these are not fixed objects. So technological evolution is an unbelievably important driving force that we've got to understand. So if we continue to produce high school non-completers, I can't even begin to tell you the negative impacts will be orders of magnitude greater than the negative impacts have been up to this point. And this is true in all businesses, all things. We were talking to a company yesterday that makes huge mining equipment. There won't be any drivers in the mining equipment. There'll only be systems operators. There won't be any miners. There'll only be computer operators, systems operators, management operators. And I'm overstating it slightly, but you should get the point. So technological change. The second thing that's happening right now is the competitiveness of this region is everyone's deluded somewhat into thinking that it's unbelievably competitive because everyone's moving here. About half the people that are moving here to get away from wherever they are for different reasons. About a quarter of the people that are moving here for good jobs. And I'm going to say this last category, about a quarter of the people that are moving here have no idea why they're here. What that means then is that while we have rising population, we have declining per capita GDP. Dramatically so. Dramatically declining per capita GDP. So do not be fooled by fancy buildings and fancy this or fancy that out there in the economy, or new office towers or new apartments, all these things. We're seeing a trifurcation of the economy. The rich, the hardworking middle class, and those in stages of their evolution of their economic life in which there are no positive indicators. In the lower third of the American economy right now, which is slightly larger in Arizona, there are no positive indicators. Which indicators? Educational attainment is going down. Lifespan is going down. Lifespan is going down. It's never occurred before. So we already have early signs of disruption, and the key predictor of the disruptive outcome is educational attainment. It is the single most significant predictor of outcome. So technological transformation and very, very complicated structured forces of de-equalization. And we can talk a lot about that, but it turns out at the root of that is education. And then lastly, we have this thing where modernization of education through technological enhancement, technological tools is now possible, and almost no educational enterprise is capable on their own of doing that, particularly school districts. They're too small, too isolated, they don't have their own R&D labs and so forth and so on. And so in this mix of all things, when you set the goal of 95% high school graduation rate, with an actual proficiency of a 21st century high school graduate and 60% post-secondary attainment, here's what we know. At the root of all of that are two things: leadership and the teachers and the instructors and the professors working together, so call that leadership and teams. And second, and this is demonstrated in all the data, all the analysis, everything that we've done, analytics. Do you know where you are? Do you know what time of day it is? Do you know how you're doing? Do you know how you're doing relative to others? Do you know how you're doing relative to all of the other factors that are around you? What are all of the factors that are going on? And so this decision center for educational excellence is built on the notion that we will do better by being straight up with the facts, straight up with the numbers, holding ourselves accountable, figuring out what we need to do, looking at the details. So I will say to you that one of the things that I've learned in the last 19 years in this job as the president of the university is that whatever I thought I knew about student behavior, student outcomes, student achievement, diversity, complexity, was wrong. Because we hadn't looked at it deeply enough. We hadn't understood it deeply enough. We didn't understand the facts. What we understood was preconceived notions of student behavior. That's what we thought that we understood, preconceived notions of student behavior. And so we are very excited to be a part of this project. We're very excited to take our talent that you're going to be seeing and to take our partnerships, with our partnership with Helios and with others, and basically upgrade Arizona's game. We are, at the moment, an underachieving region. We're an underachieving region. That's why we have per capita GDP decline. Everybody knows what I mean when I say that, right? Per capita GDP. You take the entire economy of the state, you divide it by the number of people that live in the state, and you see how you're doing overall. So, for instance, in Colorado, per capita GDP is 25% higher than in Arizona. Why is that? Much higher levels of educational attainment. Because the predictive indicator of GDP enhancement is educational attainment. So how do we analytically begin to understand all these things? How do we analytically be able to make the best decisions? How do we make these things happen? This tool, this facility, this center, these models are intended to do that. Now I'll just say relative to ourselves at the university, so we have 150,000 degree-seeking students at ASU right now. About 80,000 on campus, about 80,000 online, roughly. Our level of analytical engagement, college by college by college, so think of our 16 colleges, our 400 or so degree programs, our 150 or 200 academic departments. This is a big school district, think of it that way. Very big school district. We have kids from 153 countries, all 50 states. So we have a very diverse student body, thousands and thousands, every ethnicity. Majority of our students coming into our freshman class from Arizona are non-white. Very diverse ethnically, very diverse economically. We have tens of thousands of students that come from families with no income. We have tens of thousands of students that we're working with who are not eligible to go to the university, who are working with us on pathways programs. We now have analytical information about each and every one of those individual students. We have ways in which we're engaging them, ways in which we're moving them forward, ways in which we're using technological assets to assist them. We have chatbots in multiple languages working on decisions relative to what we're doing. We've built a gaming mechanism for people to be able to look at what they want to do with their lives and where they want to go to college. And we've built analytical tools, decision mechanisms that allow us to actually operate. And what we've seen as a function of that, who went to ASU before 1990? Anybody? Our graduation rate in 1990 was 12%. We now have the same 4-year graduation rate as Michigan State or Purdue. How did we do that? And I'm not bragging, I'm just saying it's about leadership, it's about decision making, and it's about data. And if you don't have those three things working at the same time, you won't be able to pull this off. We won't be able to pull this off. So we're very excited to be a part of this center. We're very excited to throw in with all that we've got to be a part of this. We think this is a fabulous facility. exactly the kind of command center that's needed for educational attainment. We have to start looking at it that way, start thinking about things this way. I'm going to say one other thing, and this is me sort of, I'm pulling my own halogen chemicals to lower my temperament here. You don't want to see me if I can't get it lowered down. So I have this thing that our sector, education, we're trapped in a bureaucratic mindset. We're trapped in a model that it's all about money. We're trapped in a model that it's all about someone doing something else to us. We're trapped in a model where we think that kids are stupid. We think that kids from certain backgrounds can't make things happen. We have not fully embraced what I call the abundance model. We still operate, many of us, under what I call the deficit model. What does the kid not know versus what can we help this kid to know? And so we have a lot of work to do culturally ourselves. And this, I want to say this relative to data. You think it's easy for us to look at the fact that we do not have equal graduation rates at ASU between family income differences. I can still predict a kid's probability of graduation based on their income. Even though we've increased the graduation rate for lower income kids by a factor of 5, it's still not the same as a kid from a high income family. That's a failure. Our institution has failed. All of us have to start accepting the fact that we are not succeeding as a sector. Face up to it. The score is not going in our direction. And so the only way is to put data on the table and to understand the truth of the outcomes. This was very hard for us to do at the university. Very hard to accept our own failings. So we accept them, we stare at them, we look at them, we work at them, and we change people. You don't get this? Here's another job for you. Because we have to find a way to make this institution work. And so the exciting thing for us, both in our K-12 schools that we have working in the charter environment with school districts, in our online schools for K-12, in our online college preparation activities, in our online university programs, and our on-campus university programs, if you add all that up, we're dealing with hundreds of thousands of learners from every family background that you can imagine. And it's owning their success and owning our own inadequacies. Now, the only way you can know what's going on is to engage in this kind of thing. So, we're excited about this. It's very painful, very painful, but we're very excited about this. And I want to thank Helios and Vince and Paul for inviting us to be a partner in all of this. And I think I'll just open it up for any comments or questions. Thank you.